Once again, it is time for the Redtag.ca aerial report. We bring in Marshall Ferguson, and I bet when we started the postseason, you didn't think that you'd be doing an aerial report with these two QBs specifically. And why don't we start there with Nick Arbuckle? When you look at him in this spot, what are some of the numbers that jump out to you?
Yeah, I think the first thing that jumps out to me is during the Chad Kelly suspension, how much better off potentially the Toronto Argonauts would have been if they would have played Nick Arbuckle instead of Cam Dukes. Now you're in this spot where Arbuckle's got 100 attempts on the season, right? This year alone, you've got 388 more passing attempts. That's not snaps, that's just passing attempts for Zach Collaros over Nick Arbuckle. Career-wise, Zach Collaros has 2,779 more passing attempts, which means he's had nearly 3,000 more reps to be able to look at defenses and find open receivers. So Zach obviously has a huge advantage in that. 20 plus yards down the field in terms of depth of target. And Nick Arbuckle is only attempting this year, again, small sample size with 100 attempts, but he's only attempting 10% of his attempts down the field. And Zach is at 17.8%. And then I was trying to find a number that favors Nick Arbuckle. Okay, I wanted to be able to find one that might give some hope to Argonauts fans, and I think this is it. Quarterback sacks taken in 2024, the wear and tear on the body going into a four-quarter showdown for a championship. Collaros has taken 34 sacks in the regular season. Arbuckle's taken 1. So, just in terms of, yes, you want to be in a rhythm, you want to get lots of reps, you want to have lots of experience. But if you're clean and you just got to win 4 quarters of football, Arbuckle arguably has that advantage, and maybe that could be the difference.
Marsh, you talking about the amount of reps that Zach Collaros has had over Nick Arbuckle, and obviously we know how proven he is. And what are some of the things, in your opinion, that he needs to do in order to this time get over that hump and get that championship that we know he can get for his team and really repeat the performance that he had in the Western Finals?
Yeah, well, last week when I was chatting with you guys going into the West Final, and I mentioned that I feel like Zach probably has the motivation at this point in his career. His legacy is cemented. He's got a ridiculous winning percentage, beloved by Bombers fans forever for 2 Grey Cups. But I do think he's going to approach the actual, after the opening kickoff until the final whistle with just an absolute dog mentality of nothing is stopping me, but nothing else matters. Like, we have to go and get a Grey Cup. We should have gotten at least one of the last 2, and we need to go get this one. So I just think he's going to come at this game with a different mentality than the last 2 years, where it was very much, we're close and we should probably have an opportunity to win this thing. But I really do think this year he's going to come at it from anything I have to do to win this game, I am going to do.
In your opinion, if you were to look into the future, if you did go to the future, Marsh, and you came back, what would the stat line be like for Nick Arbuckle as far as passing is concerned, as far as just his statistics and his performance is concerned, for this team to be successful and hoist the trophy and defeat the Blue Bombers once again in the Grey Cup?
I'll give you 2 lines here, okay? I'm going to say winning line would be 18 of 24, 2 touchdowns, 220 yards. I don't think he has to have a massive line. I think it's got to be complete almost everything, try to stay out of second and long, lean on your running game. And with that stat line only having 24 passing attempts, that means Kadeem Carey is probably getting 15 carries. The losing line, I'm going to say, is 21 of 34, and he's got 180 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. As much as there's a blueprint to victory, I think there's also a very strong lesson to be learned from whether it be 19 or 21 in the way that Winnipeg was able to win those Grey Cups, that if I'm Toronto, I'd be looking back and going, okay, this is how they like to win these massive games. Here's how they've been defeated in these massive games. What can we do to avoid the negative history and create some positive?
I can't wait. I hope both coordinators just go after it, and we're seeing 40 attempts. Thank you, Marsh. Enjoy the game. We appreciate the perspective on the Redtag.ca aerial report.